Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished entrepreneur from New Delhi, India, Mr. Sachin Sandhir. Sachin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh.
Sachin is the founder and chief executive officer of GenLeap, which is India's first DNA-based self-discovery and career management platform. Sachin is also a specialist in building startups, and he has built 4 successful businesses. So, Sachin, before we talk about GenLeap, tell me a little bit about your own journey in brief.
So, Ashutosh, my journey is nothing very exciting. Very average student, struggled my way through academia, struggled with 73% in my class 12, and was wondering what I would do in my career. And I was fairly lost. And then, as it happened, I had the opportunity to join the startup world, after my management. And I got into working in real estate. I joined the real estate sector, and I met my mentor and idol, a gentleman called Anuj Puri, who was the chairman of JLL, is the chairman of a company called Anarock, the god of real estate in India. And I was one of his first hires in the country. So I saw the journey, and as a startup, I saw the journey from a small company to a large company. And I saw that transition where I had the opportunity to grow very fast in my career, and all courtesy the mentorship that was provided to me by Anuj. Then I realized that after 6 years of having done that, I realized that startups was my calling. And I joined another startup, which I was the first person hired anywhere in the world by a company called Helix Financial Group. It was a company that basically provided, it's a structured finance boutique investment bank that supported commercial real estate lending for global investment banks. And I joined as the head of the business. And that was my, I was fairly young still. I think in the 7th year of my experience, I had the opportunity to head this business. And I grew the business from scratch, from an idea into a significant organization wherein we supported every global investment bank on the street. So Citi, Countrywide, Goldman Sachs, Bear Stearns, we worked with almost everybody on the street. And that business was acquired by BlackRock in a significant transaction in 2007. So I did four years of that, and very passionate about the team that I built. A lot of my people that I worked with, still reach out to me, and it's a very close group.
Sachin, if I may interrupt, I'd like to move to GenLeap because we have limited time. Tell me a little bit about GenLeap and what is your mission?
So really, GenLeap is a platform that really helps people with self-discovery. And really manages the complete career life cycle for the person, for the aspirant, right from discovery to their journey in stream selection, course selection, college selection, helping them with their applications abroad with universities, helping them get scholarships, and helping them with finance. So we manage the entire end-to-end of that journey. But what is unique about us is the fact that we combine DNA, which is really nature, what you're born with. So we feel that genetics has a role to. So what we're really doing is combining the impact of genetics, which is what you're born with, your inborn traits, and we are combining that with psychometrics, which is really psychology, and the impact of the environment on you. So we really are a complete self-discovery, upskilling, and employability platform, and very unique in the sense that we combine nature and nurture.
Could you also give me some examples of how you combine genetic information with career management?
So it's a good question. Genetics explains 60% of a person's personality. There's a lot of research over the last 20 years, and the whole genome has been mapped out. So really, genetics explains 60% of a person's personality. And there are markers corresponding to different aspects of a person's personality. And what we really do is we take a polygenic approach towards basically looking at those markers. So right from your confidence to your stress tolerance, to your calmness, to your emotional quotient, to your leadership skills, to your extroversion, to your mathematical skills, to your sporting abilities, there's a lot that is there in your DNA. So we know the markers that correspond to different aspects of a person's personality, behavior, and aptitude. And we really combine genetics, which is really through a saliva-based test. We take your saliva sample and we basically kind of, from that map out, extract the DNA and do the sequencing, and then really kind of get to know everything about a person's personality. So we really kind of get to know who Sachin the person really is, what are his strengths, what are his weaknesses, and we combine that with a online psychometric assessment that we kind of do, which is really something that has been done for a long time. But when you combine the two, you get a very powerful component, and you get a very powerful picture of who Sachin the person really is, and what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses. And then really what we've done is really built the IP that really helps us relate those aspects of a person's personality, behavior, and aptitude to the education and career choices. So that is our secret sauce, that we've built an algorithm, and we've converted this into, and we combine these two basically to help you make education and career choices on the basis of your personality.
And when you talk about so much personal data of an individual, how do you handle matters relating to privacy and security, especially of users' genetic data?
So Ashutosh, we obviously comply with GDPR regulations. We obviously look at best practice. Everything is encrypted. There's no way for anyone in the system to know that this sample belongs to Sachin, right? So it's a completely encrypted end-to-end cryptographed process. And like I said, we comply with GDPR compliance and follow best practice in the world of genetics as far as our processes are concerned.
And can you also help me understand the science behind the DNA analysis that you perform, and how does it relate to self-discovery and career guidance?
So Ashutosh, like I said, genetics really explains a person's personality, behavior, and aptitude. And 60% of a person's personality is really shaped by your DNA. And that is really where there is uniqueness in the fact that there are 60,000 papers on PubMed, which forms the basis of the research. So there's a growing stream of science called behavioral genetics, and which is the area in which we have the expertise. And when we combine that knowledge, what we are doing is really following the big five method, the model, which is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And we reuse this big five ocean model to basically understand a person's personality. But what we are doing is, instead of just getting it from genetics, we are combining it with psychometrics. And when you get a combined picture of the two, you get a very accurate picture. But there is a lot of scientific evidence that a person's personality, there's a lot of work that has been done in this space. And the work on PubMed on this, and the 20 years of research that's been done in this area, forms the basis of the scientific validation that forms the basis of the work that we do.
And then now, from the perspective of an employer, what are the benefits they would get if they have such a deep understanding of a potential candidate?
So Ashutosh, organizations, see, obviously one part of it is really helping students, but the other part of it is really helping employers in making the right decisions to make sure that they have the right person for the right role is a key aspect of our offering to corporates.
Right.
And what we are doing is really, so organizations are using our self-discovery tool. Traditionally, they use psychometric tools, but psychometric tools can be fudged, are not necessarily 100% accurate because they're impacted by your current state of mind. So if you've had a fight with your wife, the way you answer questions is going to impact the kind of personality picture, that profile that I will come up with. But when you combine that with genetics, and when you look at a combination of the two, you get a very powerful output, and which is what organizations are using to basically help understand that, there's a job description for a role, and that this person meets the knowledge, skills, and competencies required for that role. And they're using our self-discovery process to actually help figure that out. Also, what they're doing is, this is not just being used for recruiting people, but this is also being used for basically promoting people. So there's a complete roadmap of a person's, knowledge, skills, and competency development, that we get from this self-discovery process. And this is being used to help organizations basically promote staff for key roles within the organizations. And in fact, we've got companies that are coming to us saying that, it's very important that we hire people with the right skills, not just the right skills, but, people who are aligned in terms of their ethos, in terms of their, in terms of their personality, to the kind of cultural fit that might be there for the organization. So they're even hiring CEOs for different roles and using our self-discovery assessment in the process.
Very interesting. Thank you. And are there any limitations or challenges when using DNA-based insights for self-discovery and career management?
Are there any limitations? Like I said, if you looked at DNA alone, standalone, you wouldn't get a 100% accurate picture. And if you looked at psychometrics alone, you won't get a 100% accurate picture.
Right.
It's really a combination of DNA and the environment. It is a combination of nature and nurture that gives us an accurate picture. And when you look at the profile of the person, and when you look at how accurate it becomes, when you combine nature and nurture, you get a very accurate picture. So the limitations are of each of these sciences on a standalone basis. But when you look at a combined picture, you get a very accurate picture of who Ashutosh, the person really is, and what are his strengths and weaknesses, and how that fits into, what are the kind of education and career choices that he should make on the basis of that.
Very interesting. Thank you. My next question is that, before we started recording, you were speaking about new products. What are your plans for expanding GenLeap service and features in the future?
So Ashutosh, we've obviously found our sweet spot in helping people with education and career choices on the basis of a combination of nature and nurture and DNA and psychology. But what now we are doing is, we've had an excellent track record now in India, which has been adopted by major academic institutions. So there are almost 115 academic institutions that have adopted our services. And we've got, 15,000 customers that have gone through our self-discovery process since inception. And we are looking to basically do 90,000 this year. And the idea is that over the next 3 to 4 years, we would touch the lives of 2 million people just on our self-discovery. But over and above this, what we are now doing is, we are in the process of, we are an early stage company, but we are doing a Regulation A+ IPO. And we are listing on NASDAQ in the next 3 to 4 months. So in the next quarter, we would be listed on NASDAQ. And where we are is that we are doing a $54 million issue. And where what this is really going to help us do is really launch new products for mental well-being, for relationship compatibility and matchmaking. We are also getting into sports and fitness, nutrition and skincare. Those are the other areas that we are looking to launch products for. We are experts in behavioral genetics. We know combined nature and nurture, and we are going to be using behavioral genetics and combining that with psychology to help unravel relationships, to basically help people with mental well-being issues. Mental well-being is a large problem around the world, and we are looking to take this problem, solve this and address the root cause. And which is so these are some of the new products that we are looking to launch, and we will have operations in India, US, Middle East, and we're looking to expand to different parts of the world post the IPO.
Wow, fantastic! Good luck with your NASDAQ listing. I'll be watching out for it. My next question is that, let's come back to jobs and let's come back to the children you're helping. What role do you see GenLeap playing in the future when it comes to the job market and workforce development in India and beyond?
I think that's a very good question, Ashutosh. So really, the pain point that GenLeap is trying to address is the fact that a large number of people follow the herd mentality. I'm an engineer, so my son should be an engineer. I'm a doctor, my son should be a doctor. There's a lot of parental pressure, there's a lot of peer pressure. And that's the problem that we're looking to solve. And also what's happening is there are big buzzwords. There's IoT, there's big data, there's cloud computing, all the good fancy stuff that's happening around the world. Now, whether I'm right for it or not right for it, I just follow the bandwagon and I basically start to do courses in those areas. And that's part of the large problem that we have, that a large number of graduates and people who are passing out are not fit for purpose and are unemployable. And that is the problem statement that we're trying to address with accurate self-discovery. And we as a company are not just helping people with self-discovery or career discovery. We're actually hand-holding them in the complete journey from discovery, skilling, and employability. And that is what makes us unique. So we will handle the person right from helping them figure out their personality, behavior, aptitude, help them make education and career choices, actually help them get skilled in that area, get them educated at the right course with the right university or with the right edtech partner, and then get them employed. So we're a complete end-to-end career management platform. And over a period of time, what is going to start with making people, you choose the right education and career options for them and choose the right career. A longer term, there's going to be a longer term impact on making sure that more people are fit for purpose and employable in the areas in which they pass out. They will become the best versions of themselves and in the process be happy, and which is really what GenLeap stands for. So that is really what we are looking to do. And I think there will be a longer term impact that we will play, because we are an end-to-end self-discovery, upskilling, and employability platform. So we will actually help people get employed in the choices that we would have helped them make. And that is also another area that we are looking to. That is also another problem that we are looking to solve over a period of time. So that's really our approach to what we are doing.
Interesting. And you say that you are India's first DNA-based self-discovery platform. Are there others around the world? And if so, how are they different?
So, firstly, we are India's, possibly the world's first direct-to-consumer self-discovery, upskilling, and employability platform. So I don't think there are companies that are using genetics. There are companies that are using psychometrics standalone. So there isn't, but we are a combination of the two. So I think we are unique in that sense that it's not just India, possibly the world's first DNA-led self-discovery, upskilling, and employability platform. So what makes us unique is the fact that we're using genetics and psychology. But over and above that, what is unique about us is also the fact that we're an end-to-end career lifecycle management platform. So we're not just saying that, we leave you at the discovery and say you figure it out after this. We actually help you get skilled, and we actually help you get employed in that space. So that is what absolutely makes us unique. And we address the complete needs of a customer, right from the discovery that they do, but also help them with stream selection, course selection, college selection, with their university applications abroad, with helping them get scholarships and helping them get finance. So in that sense, there are people who are addressing different pieces of the puzzle, but nobody quite addressing the end-to-end needs of a customer from discovery to employability.
Very interesting. So time for two more questions for you, Sachin. My next question is that, given the fact that you said you've already worked with thousands of people, would you be able to share, without any names, of course, any success stories of users who have transformed their own lives and careers?
So, Ashutosh, we're a two-year-old company as far as India is concerned, but we have many successful case studies. So all the schools that we are working with, the students who have passed out from there are very happy. I'll give you 2 or 3 examples of how people describe our product. One is an example of a person. There's no age for self-discovery. So while this may apply to students, I have a 79-year-old person who's come out of coma and says that I've done X things in my life and I want to figure out my true calling at this stage of my life and give something back to society. So I want to do this to actually help figure out. And there is someone after coma, and he says that this product is scarily accurate and is a true reflection of what I really want to do at this stage of my life. So that's one example.
Yeah.
The second example is there are many such examples where people have made a choice on the basis of the fact that I know of a parent whose father was an engineer and who couldn't digest the fact that, he said that his son wanted to do commerce. And he said, no, you're an engineer's son. You can't do commerce. You have to do engineering. And which is really where our self-discovery convinced him when that information was shared with the student and the data points were shared with the parent, then not only has the student made the right choice and is very happy, but the parent has come back and said that this product is scarily accurate and it is actually knows the product and knows the child better than I know as a father. So I think that's a true reflection of how powerful the product is. So there are many such examples.
I'm sure. But both these are great lessons, Sachin. Thank you for sharing these. And my last question to you, Sachin, and this comes back to you. You built 4 successful businesses. You're now taking GenLeap into a new league through NASDAQ, etc. What would you say are 3 lessons you would be able to share from your own journey with the budding startup entrepreneurs?
So, Ashutosh, 3 things I genuinely strongly believe in and I'm very passionate about. One is average people do also win. Okay. I was an average student and I struggled my way through academia, but I built 4 successful startups and have been a CEO for a better part of the last 18, 19 years of my 26 years of work experience. So my first learning and something that people tell you is that non-IIT, non-IIM people also succeed. Correct. And average people also do win in their careers, provided they're willing to work hard and go that extra mile. So that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is for me, entrepreneurship is all about dealing with rejection. Okay. 90% of the times when you meet investors, people will dismiss your ideas. I've spoken to n number of investors, and I can tell you that we've raised about $15 million till date in terms of our fundraisers. But I'll tell you what, while the numbers look good, in terms of money raised, it doesn't hide the story. It doesn't tell you the story behind the number of times that I've been rejected. 90% of the people that I would have spoken to have not decided to invest one way or the other. So you've got to deal with a lot of rejection, but you have to stay convinced to play the part and to play the vision that you have for your business and to keep going forward in that journey. So I think that is very, very fundamentally important for investors. Let people not tell you, dismiss your idea. If you genuinely believe in something, you are going to be successful if you're passionate and convinced about it. Correct. And final lesson that I've always believed in is no matter how good or how bad you are, and no matter how much you think that you are scared before you take a decision, I believe dar ke aage jeet hai. Right. So I believe in that line that dar ke aage jeet hai is something which has been very, very fundamental. Every time I'm scared, every time I fear taking a decision, every time I fear a failure, I believe that there's light at the end of the day, and I tell myself that dar ke aage jeet hai. And gala sabka sookta hai, but there's if you're willing to play the course and ride the storm, then you will be successful.
Wonderful. And on that note, Sachin, and your 3 amazing lessons: average people also win, provided you agree to go that extra mile. Second, you said entrepreneurship is all about dealing with rejection, and that is so true. We've all gone through multiple rejections all the time, and you're also so right that nobody really looks at all your failures when they see how much success you've already achieved. And the third one, which is so powerful, which is your common dar ke aage jeet hai. I think that is again very, very interesting. Thank you, Sachin, for talking to me about your own journey. Thank you for talking to me about GenLeap and all the amazing work you are doing as India's first DNA-based self-discovery and career management platform. I wish you lots of success with all your new products, and I wish you lots of success with your NASDAQ listing. Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh, for your time. Appreciated all the great questions, and look forward to being of use to you as well as to people at large.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.